Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly game plan for the stock market. I hope you all are doing well. We'll just get started shortly here. Just waiting for get started very soon. Hello, good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Um, put in the chat and let me know where you are tuning in or piping in from. Put in the chat where you're tuning in from. We'll get started shortly. Let's get started. Let's get started shortly here. Hello. So feel free to type in the chat where you are tuning in from, which city, which country you are tuning in from. Put it in the chat. Labella said City of the Sniper Gang. YEG. Awesome. City of Champions. Nice one. Put in the chat where you're tuning in from. I just want to see where everybody's coming from before we can get started here. So if you can do that, that'll help us to speed up things. Oni said London, Ontario. Say hi to Premier Ford for me. Tell him I'm sending greetings from the City of Champions. All right, so there are 15 people here right now. It's only two people who have typed in where they are from. So somebody else says, Abisola says she's from Edmonton. Okay, so a lot of people from Edmonton. What about the other cities? So far, Edmonton is winning the race. How many people? What about the others? Where are you guys tuning in from? Is anybody here from British Columbia or the US or somewhere else? Okay, Regina, nice one. From the great province of Saskatchewan. Beautiful, beautiful. Any other cities? Anybody from other cities like Victoria or Vancouver, Calgary, New York, New Jersey, California, different places? All right, okay. So let's see here. Let me see here. Someone says he's from someone says Bulawayo. Oh, all the way from Zimbabwe. Awesome. That's good. That's good. Nice one. Okay, guys. Yeah, so welcome to the live YouTube stream. So my name is Richard Ajay. I'm the um co-founder and head trader of Trading Bridge here. And we're going to get started right away. This week we have a jam-packed week here. I see there's also some from New Jersey. Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, we'll get started right away here. So let's get to business. So we have a lot of things to cover here today. So I hope that by the time we finish here, you guys will have some golden nuggets to use for this week. So the purpose of this live stream is to review the game plan for the week. So as traders and investors, what we do is that every single week we have to do our homework and then we have to plan for the upcoming week, right? Because it's just like in any other thing, if you don't prepare, it's difficult for you to execute, right? So we want to make sure that we have done our homework such that when the market opens on Monday, we know exactly what to do, and then we can execute on that with no hesitation, right? So without much ado, I'll just go straight to going through what we have here for this week. So I'll share my screen right away, and then we can get started. So here, share my screen, and then we can go to so first of all, we'll go to the economic calendar. So we go to Market Watch and see what's happening there. So before we get started, before we go to the economic calendar, what I'll do is I'll go through what happened last week. So last week we got inflation data, and we got the consumer price index, which talks about increases in like food and services and stuff like that, inflation. So when it came in lighter than expected. The market was expecting, I believe it was 3.1, and then it came in the core year over year was supposed to be 3.1%, and then it came in at 2.7, which is really lighter than expected. So the Fed's ideal inflation number is 2%. We haven't gotten there yet, but usually like inflation can be sticky because if you can have, it's easy to move inflation from 9% to 3%. But from that 3% level to 2% is always an issue, right? It's always like going to be bouncing back up and about, right? So far, from the consumer standpoint, we are not seeing anything to do with inflation with the consumer due to the Trump tariffs, right? However, inflation is showing its ugly head in the producer price index, right? Which is like wholesale and producers, like, because what has happened is that companies have taken on the tariffs. So even if there is any tariffs from another country, they have taken on that price. So we are seeing that show up in the producer price index. The producer price index was supposed to come out up by 0.3, and it came out as 0.9, which was way higher than what was expected. So that caused the market to sell off on Thursday, and due to fears that inflation was going up again. So the thing is that the market has priced in interest rate cuts in September. So any bad news on the inflation front is going to maybe cause the Fed to delay again and wait on cutting interest rates. So that is why the market sold off on Thursday. And what is happening is that this producer price index is going to find its way into the consumer part very soon, because usually if companies or businesses are facing high inflation, what they do is that they pass it on to the consumer. So we are not seeing it now in the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. However, in the next few months, we are going to be seeing it trickling down into the CPI, right? Because businesses, what can they do if they realize that their goods or wholesale, everything is going up? What do? They pass it on to the consumer because businesses want to make profits, right? So we shall see how that plays out. And this week we have an important speech, so by the Fed Chair Powell, which is going to be at Jackson Hole, right? So Jackson Hole is a place where the Fed Chair goes every year to talk about Fed policy, right? What's the Fed policy? So that's where we are going to hear if the Fed is indeed planning to cut interest rate in September, right? So depending on the tone of Powell on Friday, we might get either a big sell-off or a big rally in the market, right? So the market is already positioned. You have to understand that the stock market is a forward-looking instrument, right? Any movements in the stock market that you see now is based on information or where the market is going to be going or what it thinks is going to happen in the next 2 months, in the next 6 months, right? It's not looking at things that are happening right now, right? So if Powell comes in and he's sounding very hawkish that, okay, well, we don't know what's going to happen. We are not sure we are going to cut interest rate in September, all that kind of stuff, that's going to cause the market to sell off in the short term, right? But this week, the market, like going into the week, as a trader, I go into the week neutral, but based on how things are setting up, the week is setting up for what looks like a market sell-off this week. So we shall see how that plays out. As a trader, it doesn't really matter to me. All what I do is I look at the charts and I follow price action. I follow the footprints of money and I trade accordingly. So if they want to move the market up, we follow them, we trade alongside them. If they want to sell it off, they sell it off. But we as traders, what we do is that we plan for the week. And at Trading Rich, what we do is that we do not trade based on feelings or we do not trade based on sentiments, right? We use the charts and data to back what we are doing. So there's no like kind of BS or anything like that have to do with, okay, I feel like this catalyst is coming, so this is going to go up. I feel like this is coming because this, no, we trade what we see, right? Not what we hope for. So here I'm going to look at, so this week we have a number of things. So we have home builders confidence index. This one is supposed to come out on Monday. So those that are day trading, this can impact the market in one direction or the other. It shouldn't be a big deal. Tuesday we have home stats, which is this going to be a pre-market, so it's not going to be really meaningful for those that are day trading the market open. On Wednesday is where we are going to hear about the meeting minutes from the Fed Reserve. So this is going to give us information about how the Fed members were like deliberated in their meeting regarding when they met in July. What was the transcript? What were they talking about? Were most members leaning towards cutting interest rate in September? Or are they still skeptical and then hesitant? Are they still on the fence? So that is where we are going to see those things. And then the market is going to react to that based on how the based on what is in the minutes, right? The meeting minutes. And then next one is Thursday is where we are going to get key information, right? These jobless claims on Thursdays, they usually release it every week. Last week it was 224,000. I mean, it came down lower than expected. So this week the forecast is 224,000. If it comes in higher than that, let's say it comes in 230,000, 240,000, that's going to be something that the market is not expecting, and that's going to cause the market to sell, right? So here we have at 10 o'clock, this is going to move the market. US leading economic indicator, the forecast is negative 0.1. And if this comes out worse than expected, then it's going to cause the market to sell as well. And then on Friday, there's going to be the Jackson Hole speech, which is going to be done by Chairman Powell. So that is going to be something that I believe it's going to come out around 10 o'clock. I need to double check on that, the timing, but it's going to be during the regular trading hours. And I remember Jackson Hole very well. I mean, in 2022, there was a specific trade that we took on this day, and it was just very volatile, right? Very volatile day. Before Powell took the podium, the market just rallied like so high, like it did like a 5 point move in a short period of time. And it hit a resistance level. The moment Powell started talking, he started, based on the speech was, I think they released the speech, the transcript of the speech earlier than before Powell started talking. So immediately Powell said a first few sentences, the market just sold off aggressively, right? So in just a short space of time, the market rallied and also sold off massively. So on this day, if you're a day trader, you have to be very careful. You have to know, listen to what Powell is saying. You have to have it on audio to hear what he's saying. If it's sounding hawkish or something that is, if it's sounding very, very hawkish in terms of he's not saying anything to do with, okay, we are sure that we are going to cut interest rates in September. Powell will never say that. Powell will always say, okay, we are going to watch the data. The data is going to help us determine whether we are going to cut interest rate or not, right? And he's going to say the first target is 2%, and he's going to talk about the labor market and all that stuff. So right now, we are going to see what happens on Friday, but it looks like Powell will come out again, similar to what he did in the FOMC, and sound as if rate cuts in September is not a thing, and he will just remain neutral. So if you go and check the Fed Watch tool, so I like to check this. So I say Fed Watch tool. So if you go to the Fed Watch tool, as a trader or an investor, you always have to check this place and see what's going on. So this thing keeps on fluctuating, right? Over here it says 84%. Earlier on in the week, it was 90 something percent, and at some point it was 99.9. All of a sudden, it's 84%. So this has been decreasing, right? So maybe by Wednesday after Powell's speech, if this thing comes down lower than this, that means that it's not a good sign for the market, right? If this comes down to, let's say, 70%, 80%, or even 50%, that means that the market is not sure. If this comes to neutral, 50% or less, that means that the market is not sure there's going to be interest rate cuts in September. But most of the analysts, the economists, everybody is predicting that we are surely going to get interest rate cuts in September. Also on Thursday, if this number comes in and shows that the labor market is still weakening, then definitely the Fed has no choice. They need to cut interest rate in September, and it's going to be September 17th. So from now to September 17th, there's going to be lots of jobless numbers coming out, and the Fed is going to use that to assess, to figure out whether the economy is still strong or is showing weakness. In the last FOMC meeting, Powell was saying that he thinks the economy is strong, everything is okay, labor market is good, all that stuff, right? But the data is showing something different. So we shall see how he sounds. So this is why I'm thinking, right? From a long-term perspective, I think that usually, historically, if you look at historical data over the years, over the last 100 years, right? Anytime the Fed start cutting interest rates, it signals that something has broken in the economy, right? So they can come out and have some, some kind of expression and sound as if everything is okay. But always, almost always, it looks like something has broken in the economy, right? Maybe this time might be different. They always say this time is different, but history is history, right? So I'm thinking that I've been talking about the final rally since April 7th. On April 7th, I called the bucket bottom. I told everybody in our community that this was the right time to buy and should buy all the key stocks that are listed in the group. Palantir, all-time high. Microsoft, all-time high. Like Netflix, all-time high. All these stocks went to all-time high, right? I think that after the Fed interest rate cuts on September 16th, I think that's going to mark the end of the final rally, right? There's no guarantees, right? Because these things can take a while, but I think that by September, we are going to be winding down, right? So September, we can be winding down and we are going to get to the end of the final rally, meaning that we are going to get some kind of correction or something really deeper than that. So we shall see how that works out, and we are going to monitor it in the days and weeks ahead. Okay. So now that we know the fundamentals and the economic aspects of things, let's now go into the technicals. Let's go to the technical part of the market, right? Let's look at what that is telling us, and let's see how we plan to make money this week. Okay, so I'll go to my charts here. So first and foremost, I'll go to this chart here. I'll go to the XPS, right? That's the S&P 500. S&P 500 index. So if you go to the S&P 500 index, this is what I'm watching so far. So here, you know, those of you that are new to technical analysis or haven't taken our course, so here, this is called parallel channel, okay? So if you look here, this is October 2023. I remember this very well, October 2023. This is where NVIDIA bottomed. And then a couple of weeks later, NVIDIA did 100 points. At the time, NVIDIA was trading at, I think it was like, they hadn't done the stock split, and it just went up by 100 points. So NVIDIA was carrying the market on its shoulders, right? NVIDIA is still doing that on its shoulder. And today, I'm going to show you one chart that I'm watching. Immediately that chart's breakdown, you know that there's trouble. There's trouble in the market. And that chart has been holding on strong. For the last 7 weeks, it's been green, 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 green. So we shall see what happens this week, whether we are going to start getting a crack in that chart or not. So we are going to get to that later. So here, you can see that this is the bottom of October 2023. And this is our year low, which is April 7th, right? So if you take your parallel from there and move it up, right, comes to this area. So you see here we're touching, so this touches the, if you look at this is December 2024. That's the high of last year. And then that was the all-time high from last year. And then here, this is where we got to, this was the July 31st before the sell-off. And then we are here. So in technical analysis, there's something called breakout, right? This is not a confirmed breakout yet. So if we're able to break above, and apart from that, apart from the parallel channel that this came to, right? At this point, there is also another trend line. So here, this is from October 27th, 2023. If you extend it, it touches August 5th, 2024. And then once you extend it, it hits this area. This is the July 30th like candle. And then this is from last week, Friday. Okay. So here, this is so far confirming. It's not confirmed yet that, so it's trading between these two levels. So this is the parallel channel, and this is the resistance level. We haven't broken above this. I will be bullish again if we break above this trend line here, this one, this orange one, right? If we break above this, but now in the short term, I'm bearish in the short term, meaning that I'm bearish for maybe this week to maybe next week. But for this week, going into the week, I think the market is setting up for a pullback, right? A pullback. So it could be 2% pullback, or it could be 3% pullback. But we know what happened the last time. The last time, look at this. This was July 31st, and then this was August 1st. July 31st and August 1st action wiped out how many days of action? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like if you go to the weekly, just to make it easy. So if you look at this, this was the July Eastern week, right? It wiped out it wiped out the entire 4 weeks of trading action in just 2 days. Okay. So what it shows us is that the bears are very vicious. Like when they get a hold of the when they take control, they are very, very vicious. Like they are going to just destroy things very, very fast, right? So you want to be on the right side of the trade using technical analysis, right? So here, all what I'm doing here is looking at putting the probabilities in our favor, right? There isn't any kind of feelings here. There isn't any kind of I feel it's going to do this, I feel it's going to do that. No, we are just looking at the chart, right? So this one, anybody can look at it and say, okay, last time price came in, what did he do? It bounced, it went up. Last time it touched this channel here, the resistance of this channel, it went down. Here as well, what did he do? It went down. So here it has come back here again. So probabilities tell me that because we've seen this happen here and we've seen this happen here, we could see the same thing happen again. Again, there's nothing 100% guaranteed in trading. It could do otherwise, but for now, I'm bearish in the short term. However, if we break above this trend line, I'll be bullish, meaning that we are going to crack above this, and then we can go. Then there's going to be a break and retest kind of trade whereby this does something like this. We go up and then we come down, we hold on to this like this, and then price takes off, something like that, right? That's what can happen. Or it can just be like just a quick gap up. We get a gap up. One of the days, maybe it could be tomorrow, it could be Wednesday or something, any day, right? Maybe there's some news. Maybe the Russia-Ukraine war thing. Trump was saying that Trump was saying something that they had good conversations with Russia. He has to speak to the president of Ukraine and then the EU. So if there's some kind of good news in that front, it might be a positive news for the market and we can get some kind of a gap up, but I don't know how far that gap up is going to last. Okay. So that's how I see this. So for this week, I'm seeing that as long as we are not breaking above this, then we are going to trend down, right? We are going to trend down. And also another chart that I'm watching closely is that, so again, we put the data together, right? Piece of data together to make an informed analysis and informed decisions and game plans. So if you look at this, this is called the VIX, the volatility index. Okay. So how the volatility index works is that anytime the SPY or SPY or XPS is rallying, the VIX sells off. So you can see that the SPY has been selling, has been rallying nonstop, right? And that has caused this to continue selling. So here, if you look at this, this was what, April 7th. That was the low of the year, right? If you go back and check SPY, SPY, so this is the opposite of what SPY is doing. So here, look at this. This is the low, okay? That's the low of April 7th. And then if you check the VIX, SPY was down on April 7th at these lows. VIX was at highs, right? At highs, right? So what I see here is that if you take this, the last time, anytime price came here, you see here, it bounced. Price came here, it bounced. Price came here, it bounced. So based on that historical data, you don't need to be a rocket scientist, right? You don't need any special skills. You are going to know that, hey, listen, the last time it came here, what did we get? We got this big move in volatility, right? The last time price came here, we got this big move in volatility. Last time price came here, which was, I think this was that the July one? That's August. Yeah. So this is the one. Yeah. So here, members in my community, we caught this beautiful move. This popped up. So based on this is telling me that what happened here can also happen here again. That is why coming into this week, I'm saying that I'm leaning in the short term, I'm leaning bearish because I'm putting the pieces of data together. I'm not just making things up, right? I look at the data and based on that, I determine where I'm going to be leaning, right? So here, if you look at this, anytime the VIX is trading at around 15 or $14 level, it means that there's a lot of complacency in the market, right? everybody, that means that it's like there's a lot of greed, everybody's chasing things, and everybody's happy, they're super excited. They buy something and it goes up, everybody's happy, right? So anytime that happens, the VIX puts the market in check, right? Goes to reset mode. So do not be surprised if you see VIX trading at somewhere here this week, right? By the end of the week, we should be somewhere here, or I don't know where it's going, but based on this thing here, the last time price came here, it held this trend line. So you see this downsloping trend line, it has held it. It did it here in what, 3 occasions? 1, 2, 3. It's going to do that again on the 4th time, right? So this has been acting as a brick wall support. However, if you break it, that means that the SPY would have cracked that, the SPS or SPY would have cracked this trend line, would have broken out of this trend line and it to be gone, right? That's the thing. So yeah, so I'm positioning myself this week for shorts. So if the market is weak, I'm going to be targeting stocks that are showing weakness, like their chart is showing weakness, and I go and attack those, right? I'm not going to attack things that are strong, right? I'm going to attack the weak links and attack them and profit from it. So if you're a participant in the stock market, you should be able to know how to make money when stocks are also going down or where ETFs are going down, right? You don't only make money. The stock market is not only to make money when things are rallying. Everybody's going to the moon, everybody's happy. No, you should be able to make money when stocks are also selling to the downside, right? So this is the this chart, I'm going to be watching this closely. The same thing applies to SPY. XPS and SPY is the same thing. XPS is the index and SPY is the ETF. Okay. All right. So now that we know this, let's look at our game plan for. So this week I'm leaning bearish for SPY. If you are unable to break this above this trend line, I'm going to short SPY to the downside. At a minimum, I'm looking to get SPY to come here. You see this area? No, SPS to come here. It's same as SPY, somewhere here, which is 63, 67. That's going to be, so this number you divide by 10, you're going to get the price for SPY. So around 636, right? So if we go to the SPY chart, SPY is the SPY chart here. And this is what we have so far for SPY. So let's go to this and erase this. So we have this here. And we are going to be watching SPY closely. So what I'm going to look at is that if we are unable to break these highs, we are going to come, next area of support is going to be 640, which is 6 points below this. So if you can get a pull, like a pull to all the way here, that would be really nice, right? Somewhere here. Okay. Because if you look at this closely, SPY has always held this purple line, right? Until when? August 1st, that we broke it, right? So the fact that we've broken this, it means that the next time we come back here, it's going to be easy to break, and we might go all the way here. Like we might come all the way here the next time, right? So these are moving averages. So with moving averages, price goes and breaks it once, breaks the first one, comes back, breaks the second one, comes back, breaks the third one. So if you look at this, the first time we attempted this attempted, what did he do? He held, right? And then it went back up all the way here. And what did he do next time? He broke it. It gapped down. He broke it, right? Now we went up. So we have not yet tested the 50 yet. So perhaps this time around, if the sell-off is intense, we can come all the way here. So, do not be surprised if SPY comes to this area. Don't be surprised, right? Because that's the natural movement of natural movement of the markets, right? Is going to come and retest the other area and test it again. So we can come all the way to 619, but it's not going to happen in one day. It could happen over a couple of days. Maybe by the end of the week, we'll be somewhere here at the 20, or even somewhere below the 20, and then we go down from there. So that is what I'm looking at this week. And I'll look at, so the all-time highs is going to be my stop loss where I'm going to look to. So if I'm shorting SPY, my stop is here and look to get, so any pull to the moving averages, I'm going to pay myself. A push to the 9, I'll pay myself. Push to this area, I'll take profits, and then we are going to pull to this area. So we shall see how that plays out, okay? So far, SPY is showing resilience. And if you check the QQQ is looking a little bit weaker than SPY. So let's go back to the charts here. Let's look at the NASDAQ or the QQQ ETF. So a QQQ ETF, again, we have this beautiful parallel channel here, right? So this is from Friday, May 23rd. So it hits here, the bottom here. So once again, this was done. So here we drew a trend line, and then we formed a parallel channel. We move it this way to this area, right? So if you look at it, you see that so anytime price came here, it did what? It pulled back. Price came here, it pulled back. So we are back at it again, and we are close to the 50% level. So I believe that if the market is weak this week, we are going to come here and come and retest this parallel channel again, right? If it's very weak, if the market is weak and the bears are really aggressive, they are going to break this down, and then perhaps we can come all the way to this red line, this area, right? So that's the area where I'm looking for the market to, like, QQQ to come to and SPY to come to. If it comes there, it means that, okay, we got a deeper pullback then, okay? So that's what I'm looking at, and this has already is setting up already. If you check the one for SPY, you see that SPY hasn't even broken down yet. It's still up, but QQQ is showing weakness, okay? QQQ is showing weakness. So that's where I want this to come to, and that will be somewhere around, let's see, somewhere around 565 level, somewhere here or even lower, okay? So that's the game plan for QQQ. Let's go to the other chart. So I looked at the DIA. So the DIA is showing something interesting. So DIA is here. It's that's the Dow, right? That's the Dow Jones Index, right? That's the ETF for the Dow Jones Index. So here we have what looks like a double top, okay? So this is your left top, right? And if we are using zones, right? Support and resistance level are not just like thin lines, right? They are zones, right? So if you use zones, this could be considered as one top, two top, three tops, and then four, right? And then it came here, it pulled back. So if price is unable to break above this level, right, we are going to get a sell, right, in the DI or the Dow. Okay, so if the Dow sells off, you know that the stocks in the Dow will be selling off as well, right? Once the Dow, everything sells off, all stocks are going to sell off, right? So here, this is going to go down like this. We can get some kind of a move. You see, with the Dow compared to the QQQ and SPY, the Dow, the last time we got a pullback in August, the Dow came all the way to the red line, which is the 50 SMA on the daily, right? So if that's the case, next time we can come all the way here to the 200, right? That means next time, if we get a deeper pullback in the SPY and QQQ to the 50, that means that this might be coming all the way down to the 200, right? There's no guarantees, but that is what the pattern is showing me here, okay? So that's for the Dow. So if the Dow is weak, that means that everything is technically weak. Then you can look to trade the stocks listed in the Dow, like Boeing, like Starbucks, like Walmart, and all that stuff, right? I believe Walmart has earnings coming up this week, and Home Depot. So Home Depot, let's see, AD. Walmart and Home Depot, they all have earnings coming up. So we'll see how that works out during the week, okay? So next one I'm going to be watching is IWM as well. So IWM had a very good week last week. I believe it closed green. Did it? Okay. IWM closed green. So IWM closed green and had a great week because the IWM is where the small caps are listed. And compared to the other indices, the Russell 2000 is the only one that hasn't hit all-time highs yet. Like it's still behind, right? If you look at it, look at where it's trading now. It's still trading, it's nowhere near all-time high. It's like it has about 7% more to go to get to all-time highs. It got all the way here and then sold off, right? It got all the way here and sold off at this key level. So if IWM is able to break above this level, then what you have to do is that you have to look for the small cap stocks, right? That means that small cap stocks are going to do well and they're also going to break out. So we are going to see this. So if there's any news from Powell or something about interest rates and interest rate cuts, any good news on the interest rate cut front, then definitely you are going to see a breakout in the IWM. So IWM, we needs to find a way to hold this area and then break out from here. So above 231, IWM is going to break out and possibly come somewhere here, 335, then over here, 338, and then later on, maybe by September, we should get to all-time highs, right? So once this gets to all-time highs, that means that we should be wrapping up the final rally, right? Because IWM has a lot of small cap stocks. Most of these stocks are not profitable, that they are not profitable businesses. So even though you have SPY and QQQ and things going to all-time highs, if you check SPY and QQQ, you are going to see that it's only a few stocks that is carrying the entire index, right? Like the Nvidias of this world, the Microsoft of this world. The other ones in the NASDAQ, like in the QQQ, most of them are not even doing that well, right? It's because of the Nvidias of this world, the Microsofts that are pushing everything up, right? So if you look at, what's the name of this index again? Let me see if I can find it. RSP, is that the right one? Okay, excellent. So this is the equal weighted S&P 500, right? So this is where it's trading now. It's trading at all-time highs. And this is this one here. It's not the same as the SPY. This is equal weighted, meaning that all the stocks, all the 500 stocks have equal weightings, right? So everyone is 1%, 1%, 1%, right? So this is showing that, okay, things are heading in the right direction. But when it comes to the IWM is struggling, right? IWM is struggling. It has not gone into all-time high yet. So if we're able to get that breakout, then we are going to go. But if IWM is up, that means that SPY and QQQ2 are up, right? Because SPY and QQQ cannot be down and IWM is going to be up, right? However, once the interest rate cuts decision comes out and is confirmed, maybe Powell confirms this on Friday, then you are going to see a big rally in the IWM. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the stocks. So the stocks that I'm watching this week, I have a number of stocks that I'm watching this week. And based on how the market goes, if it's bearish, we are going to attack certain stocks. If it's bullish, we are going to attack certain stocks. And also there are certain stocks that are going to be divergent, trade divergent to the market. That meaning that even though SPY or QQQ are selling off, these stocks are going to rally. So you can watch those ones as well as stocks that are not following the trend. Okay. So one stock that I'm going to be watching very, very closely, it's, let me go back and check, let me double check when they're having their thing, like what is it? Earnings whispers. So if I check earnings whispers, let me see. I know Nvidia has earnings, but I believe it's in the last week of, yeah, okay. It's going to be August 27th, right? That's when Nvidia is having its earnings, August 27th. So if Nvidia having earnings August 27th, that's next week, okay? So one stock that I'm going to be watching is Nvidia, okay? So with Nvidia, what I'm seeing here is that Nvidia has been the stock that has been holding the market on its shoulders. And if you look at this thing here has been going like a rocket ship, like it's just going nonstop. If you count this like several weeks of green, right? This one here even was like, it was just a neutral thing, but green, 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 green keeps on going, right? But for the first time, we have seen Nvidia break below this trend line. See this orange trend line from from April 7th. April 7th, 1, 2, 3, hits, 4, 5, and then here. Finally got it to break down to this area. So what I'm watching for Nvidia is that if Nvidia confirms, so this is a breakdown, right? It's not confirmed yet. In order for us to confirm, we need a red candle to close below this, a daily candle to close below this. So something like this. So you know that if this has been holding the market and pushing the market up, if Nvidia breaks down like this, you know that SPY and QQQ will be in trouble, right? It's going to affect the entire market. Okay, so I'm going to be watching Nvidia with a keen eye, and if we break down below this, then all hell will break loose. All the other stocks are going to be in trouble. The QQQ and SPY will be in trouble as well. So that's one chart that I'm going to be watching closely. So on Wall Street, there's a saying that as the semiconductors goes, so does the market, right? So if you check the semiconductor index, the SMH, this thing has been just going nonstop, right? It's just been going nonstop. But for the first time, it's showing some kind of weakness. So we shall see how that plays out this week. Okay. So Nvidia is one of the stocks that I'm going to be watching very, very closely. And actually, yeah, we are going to be watching it closely. So those in our day trading service, we are going to look at this closely and day trade it when the opportunity presents itself. Okay. So next one I'm looking at is Microsoft. So Microsoft is one of those stocks that also went to all-time highs, right? Together with Nvidia. And I'm seeing cracks in Microsoft, right? It's not confirmed yet, right? So the same way we have confirmed breakouts, you also want to get confirmed breakdown. Okay. So right now, this is like in between a rock and a hard place. Like this place, this one is like, you see this trend line here? So Microsoft, after the earnings beat, I think this one was in January or so. No, in May, this thing has gone up, shot up like that, right? It keeps on grinding. And if you look at this trend line here, this is from May 1st. It hits it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So this has been a break wall of support, right? This trend line has been a break wall of support. So if we break this trend line, we sure know that we are going to get a breakdown in Microsoft. And if we get a breakdown in Microsoft and Nvidia, what do you think is going to happen to the QQQ? The QQQ is going to sell off, right? Because these two, let's go to Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance. All right. Go to Yahoo Finance quickly here. So if you check the QQQ here, so if you go to Yahoo Finance and you check the holdings, right? So if you're taking our course, we're going through all this stuff here about ETFs and their holdings, right? So if you check the holdings, under the holdings, there's ratings, right? So you see here the top 10. So all you care about is the top 10. Nvidia is 10%, Microsoft is 9%. So what do you think is going to happen if Nvidia and Microsoft are down on the day? It means that this whole ETF is going to go down. These other guys can be green, but they might not be able to save it, right? Because if the big boys are down, chances are that these other guys too are down as well. So that's what is going to send the market down. So going to this week, Microsoft and Nvidia are going to be two key stocks that I'm going to be watching to see if we get a breakdown. If we get a breakdown, you know that the next breakdown, I believe that Microsoft is going to come here, over here, right? And actually, it's interesting because this is a key level of support. So I believe Microsoft can come all the way to 500. right? 500 from here, which is not far, which is just 18 points away from this. It's not that far. So I think that's a possibility if the market is weak, okay? Then the next one I'm looking at here is next stock I'm looking at, which we have gone through before. Like again, talked about Nvidia, so I have to talk about Nvidia's cousin, that's AMD. AMD's. So for those that are in our day trading service, we've been pulling money from AMD left, right, center on a daily basis, right? It has been one of the most reliable stocks, and I call it the canary of the coal mine. So because AMD always shows us what's going to happen to the general market and other stocks before SPY and QQQ start making a move. So if AMD starts selling off, we know that, okay, SPY and QQQ will start selling off at some point, but AMD always takes the lead. So over here, I like this chart pattern here. So I see here, this was a triple top, one top, two top, three tops, right? So this 186 level has been a break wall for AMD, right? You see, he came here, what did he do? He reversed, right? And it's trading below this trend line as well, this trend line from all the way 2024, and it's trading below it. So if AMD, if you're able to get AMD to break below 174, then definitely we are going to come here to 170, and then maybe we can get a deeper pullback to perhaps maybe somewhere here, right? Somewhere here. So you know that if Nvidia is selling and it's weak, then AMD will also follow suit because Nvidia is a stronger stock than AMD. And also with Nvidia's earnings coming, maybe the smart money would like to take some profit off the table and then wait and hold up for the earnings. So after the earnings, they can add it to it. Because anytime something has run up a lot before earnings, when earnings come, even though it's good, it has to be spectacular. It has to be out of the ordinary, like something extraordinary for it to gap up. Like, because look at Nvidia. Look at Nvidia right now. Nvidia is very, look at where it's trading. So if they were to have earnings right now, this has rallied like for 17 weeks nonstop, right? If they have earnings, then the earnings have to come in better, way, way, way better than what the Wall Street is looking for. If it comes in just regular, then it's going to sell, right? So perhaps maybe we'll get that pullback. And then once the earnings come, if it's good, then it's going to rally back up again to all-time high. So that's what can happen. So AMD is setting up for a short, but knowing AMD can do crazy things. And if tomorrow we see AMD is gapping up above this trend line, then we are going to lean and see if we can pop here and then break through. If we break this one, then we are going to get a squeeze, a big breakout. We are going to get a big breakout, and AMD can head to all-time highs very soon. So one stock I'm watching tomorrow is AMD. AMD, Nvidia, Microsoft. Okay. And next stock I'm watching is UNH. So UNH is one that I have a position in. I have a position in UNH, and those in our community have been talking about. I've been screaming on top of rooftops about UNH. Told you guys, UNH is going to be like the Meta of 2022. In 2022, a lot of people said Meta was dead, right? And the funny thing is that these guys saying Meta was dead, they were using a Meta platform to communicate, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And the same people were saying Meta was dead, right? Meta came all the way to, if you look at this was once in a lifetime opportunity, right? See, Meta came all the way. We came from 2021, it came all the way from 387. It came all the way down to where? 86. It was $86 somewhere here. $86, 86. So here. So look at Meta here from 86. Where is it today? 755%. So imagine you bought Meta here, right? You would have made 7x, 7.5x return just on the equity. Not there's no option, this equity, right? There's the shares. So I see UNH doing a Meta, right? I see UNH doing a Meta. So last week, UNH had one of his best weeks so far since the whole DOJ lawsuit and stuff. So the reason why this stock has sold off 50%, more than 50% from its sort of 60% now is that, where is it now? Is that 50%, right? From its highs. So at 50%, this is very, very cheap, right? So one thing you need to know is that as a trader or long-term investor, I mean, you don't need to be a trader. You can be a long-term investor, but as a long-term investor, you have to look for stocks that are oversold, quality names that are oversold, right? So if you have a chart, a simple chart, you put in the 200 moving average, which is this yellow line, and go to the weekly time frame. Because if you're a long-term investor, you're looking at weekly, monthly, those kinds of things. You are not a day trader looking for day-to-day stuff. So any stock that you have, if you've analyzed it, you like the company and they have solid track record and they are making money, they are not a loss-making company, they are profitable, then you have to look at this. So here, what you do is that you look at it from a standpoint of, is this thing trading below the yellow line? If it's trading below the 200-week simple moving average, it means that it is at a deep value zone. Deep value zone is like it is at a Black Friday sale. So check this out. So let's say there's a car that you wanted to buy. Maybe you wanted to buy the latest Mercedes-Benz for 2025, right? And you've been checking it out. Like the last time you checked, it was like 100,000, right? Maybe 100,000 USD or 200,000 USD, whatever it is, right? And all of a sudden, the same vehicle, you checked it again a couple of months later, the same vehicle is now costing 50% off. What are you going to do? You are going to buy it, right? Because you know that is a Mercedes. It's like its value is going to be there, right? So you buy it now. What later on you can go sell it, and you can sell it out for something higher. So it's the same thing happening here with UNH, right? UNH was one of Dow's number two company. Dow's number two company, right? In the top 10. And this company is an insurance company, right? Insurance companies don't lose money most of the time. They don't lose money, right? And this has been very profitable. This was trading at almost all-time highs before the whole scandal situation, and it sold off. So the only reason why this stock is down is because of the lawsuit from the Department of Justice in the US, right? So if the lawsuit is cleared out, everything is good, you bet that this thing is going to go back to $600. So imagine you buying it at 300 and this thing goes back to 600, you made 2x return on your investment, right? So this is why this is a great investment for long term. So those in our community, we already bought this. We caught the bottom here and we've been riding it. And this week, news came out that the one of the greatest investors of the last 100 years, Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, took a stake in UNH, right? And also Michael Berry of the Big Short fame. So if you go to Netflix, you can watch the movie Big Short, right? He's one of the guys that shorted the market and made billions of dollars, right? He went long on UNH. So he's known to be somebody that likes to short things, right? But he's a contrarian trader, contrarian investor. So if these guys and other, even Saudi Arabia or Aramco are even investing in this. So you have to know that these are guys where they have the best analysts in the world, right? And they're paying them a lot of money to do their analysis. You're not going to put billions of dollars in something that they know that it is not going to go up, right? They want to make money from it. So UNH is a stock that you should be buying in your long-term portfolio, right? And there are different ways to play it. You can play it as an option. You can play it as you can buy the leverage ETF. The leverage ETF is called UNHG, right? UNHG, this one. So we have a position in this. Like we bought it at around $10 thereabout. And right now it's trading at $17, like $16, right? And we're still holding this. So we bought the options and we're still holding that. So we have options expiring in March 2026. So this year is something that everyone should have in their portfolio because it's going to end up doing wonders, right? So UNH, I believe that if UNH is able to break above 30.26 this week, we are going to go up and fill this gap. So if UNH can fill this gap sometime soon, that's going to be a big milestone. That's like a big achievement, right? So here, it's like a big achievement if we can fill this gap here, because it's a gap that is from here to there, right? So if you can fill this gap here, that'll be spectacular, right? For this. So I'm holding this with diamond hands. I'm not selling anything. I'm holding it till to the end, right? So I know some folks, I know folks are saying, "Oh, but he rallied," but listen, at 300, you don't want it. Do you want it at 500? Is that where you're going to buy it? Right? You want to buy it when nobody wants it, right? And now you have validation that Warren Buffett and everybody has jumped into it. So it means that it's giving you that confirmation that this is going to go up. So the next stock I'm looking at in the same healthcare field is that I think Novo Nordic, right? This stock, Novo Nordic. I think Novo Nordic is going to do a UNH very soon. So Novo Nordic, if you look at this downsloping trend line here, this looks like what looks like a an inverse head and shoulders. So this is your left shoulder, this is your head, this is your right shoulder here, right? It's inverted, right? Slanted. But so last week we got this big move here. So this was a milestone here to come to this level. So if we're able to crack above this, then we are going to fill this gap. So there's a big gap here to fill for this stock. If it's able to rise to $69 level, then it's going to do well. So this is a one that, again, this is undervalued, right? For me, as a long-term investor, I only buy undervalued stocks, right? And that is why I do my dollar cost averaging. I don't do dollar cost averaging at all-time highs. It makes no sense, right? I will never do that, right? I never do things that, or I know there are people that believe in dollar cost averaging, let dollar cost average everything, even if at all-time high, it makes zero sense, right? Why would I dollar cost average something that is at 150 when I could have done it here? So this is the time that you have to be looking to get this, to buy this, so you can dollar cost average this, and eventually this is going to play out well. So look at this. It had a very good week. And this is, so this year can be your stop, right? Like if I don't even care about stops about this one. I'm buying this and holding, right? So you can nimble in on the stocks, on the shares of a stock, or you can buy the option like leap options expiring 2027 or 2026 or whatever it is. This is going to play out. This is going to come out good, right? Eventually, it's going to come out good. And the way this is setting up here, I like what I see. I think we are going to get a push to fill the gap. So Novo Nordic is one that I'm flagging for a long-term hold. Based on the technicals, it's telling me that it has hit the bottom. It's time for it to reverse. And then if you go to the weekly, using the same strategy, you see that this is the yellow line, 200 week week moving average. So anything here is deep value zone, this Black Friday sale. So you have to buy, right? You don't want to wait and buy here, right? That by the time it gets here, everybody knows about it, right? Everybody is talking about it. So you want to buy here and then hold till it rallies, right? Yeah, so this is a nice place to buy. Another one that I'm going to watch in the healthcare field as well is Thames. This one. This can give us a breakout this week. I was watching it last week, but I think I missed my entry, so I couldn't catch it like this day, this one. I missed this one. Like I got the alert on in my email, but I didn't take the I set an alert on TC2000, but I couldn't execute on it. So here, you see here, price came here, it hit this area, it sold off. Price came here as well, this area here, and then what did he do? He tried to push up, and then here as well, he came here now, and he couldn't push up. So if we can get this stock, Tempos, right? they have something to do with some AI thing or something like that. So the veteran Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi has shares in this. I believe options as well. So if you look at this closely, this is a head, left shoulder, right shoulder. So anytime you have a invested in shoulders, it forms a cap, right? So this is your cap, this is your handle, and I believe that once we break out of this trend line, you see this trend line here. If we break out of this can give us a big green day, right? So I'm going to be watching this. I've set my alert already, ready to go. So immediately this breaks above this, I'm going to look to go long and buy some call options and ride the rally up. So I like this. I like this setup here for a breakout play. Okay. So above 75 or 76, above $76, this is going to rally and squeeze massively. And then if what happened in the past is anything to go by, we can just push to all-time highs again. So watch this closely this week to see what happens there. Another stock that is beating down that needs to be paid. You have to pay attention to is Lululemon, right? So this anybody that goes to the gym and stuff, you know that this company here is they sell all these fitness apparel like clothing and stuff like that. So they've been going through a tough time, and I believe that this will come back strong, right? You have to know that in the market, no situation is permanent, or even in life, no situation is permanent, right? So you buy these things when nobody wants them, and then you profit from it. I believe that Lululemon has gone into the bottom. I think so. I think we are at the bottom. If we can gap up above this trend line here, then it's going to be off to the races, right? And also, if you go to the earnings whisper, they have earnings coming up in September. So all what they need to do is to say something nice. Okay. Just say something nice. September 1st. So I'll be looking at this earnings closely, right? If they say something nice, and if stocks have been beaten down like this, right? So the bar has been set so low that any good thing that they say we can get like a 20, we can get like a 10% pop, 5%, even 20% pop in one day, right? So this is a good time to buy Lululemon. Like if you want to like long-term hold, you can buy it as a long-term hold. You can buy some leap options and then hold it for the long term, right? But don't be surprised. Once the earnings come, you might see this trading somewhere here or 300s. Don't be surprised and don't miss out on that move. Okay. Another one that I'm looking at here is Palantir. Palantir is another stock that we shorted on Friday. So those in our day trading service, we shorted Palantir. So this year we shorted it from the top to the bottom here, and then we rolled it up again in the rally. So if you look at it here on Friday, that was one of our main trade of the day. Right at the gates, I told members Palantir was a short. So we shorted Palantir from here to here. And then once he hits key level, I told members, let's flip short, flip long. We caught the long as well. So this was a beautiful trade. So downside, long side. So Palantir still has some more downside and is a overvalued company. This is one of the stocks where if the market starts selling off and showing weakness, I'm going to be shorting Palantir. So I expect Palantir to come down here. If this week we get a sell-off in the market and Nvidia breaks down, you expect Palantir to sell. It cannot hold. It's going to sell. If the main guy, the grandmaster of the market, is in trouble, then Palantir has no choice. It's going to go down, right? So that's what I'm watching here. We've already cracked below we've already cracked below the 5 and then the 9. So this is showing that we are curling down. So we are curling down to the downside. What we need to do is that we need a confirmed breakdown and we need to push below here and try to come and fill this gap. So give or take, I expect Palantir to come at least here. And if you look at Palantir closely, you're going to see that this stock here, it has Look at this. It has held this 20 for the longest time. The last time we got a pullback, like in August, when the market pulled back, it came here. So this time around, if the market is weak again, I believe that we are going to crack below this, right? So we can wait and see what happens. But Palantir will be on the chopping block if the market is weak this week, right? Yeah. So apart from that, there are also other stocks that I'm watching. There's a few left here. MicroStrategy. So that's based on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is showing weakness or sells, this thing can come here to the 200. I think that that's an area where we can see this to bounce, right? MicroStrategy here, this one. So you look at this closely. Pattern recognition, came here, bounce, came here, bounce, came here, bounce, came here, bounce. So if it comes here, it's going to do the same thing. All right, we are going to bounce here. So be careful shorting this because like unless we trade below this completely, we crack below this and it's confirmed, then we are going to go further. But if you're trying to catch like, just 12 points move, you have to be really careful if you're shorting this. But if everything is showing weakness, I think that we could be trading below the 200 on MSTR. Okay. But I believe that the bounces can come here. Once he holds this, we are going to bounce and we are going to push up. Okay. All right. So other stocks that I'm watching, the Chinese stocks, NEO has been doing well. I think last week NEO did very well amongst the Chinese stocks. And I see NEO here. This is a cap. So you can draw a cap here. So this again is an inverse head and shoulders. So a cap, this is your handle. We need NEO to break above this channel. If it breaks above this channel, NEO can squeeze to $5.19 or even $6. So NEO Chinese stocks, I'm going to be watching this to see if we can get a break above it. Okay. Another one that I'm watching, like this, the option flow on Baba. So Baba was one of our top tickets for our swing trading service at Rich Alerts. So here we caught Baba move like a swing trade, and we caught it from, when was it? It was somewhere here. I think we had the trade was, this was caught the trade from August something. We caught the move. We caught about 8% to 10% move in Baba, and we sold here 127. So Baba has been like, has been doing all these gap ups and craziness, right? We need, my ultimate target for Baba is to Baba to come somewhere here and fill this gap at 133 area. So we shall see what happens to it. It didn't really continue going up. It pulled back again to this area, to the scene of the crime, right? This is where it broke out from. It came back here. So we shall see what happens to it. But in terms of Chinese stocks, NEO has the best setup for a breakout. NEO has the best setup for a breakout. Okay. Then I have a few more here. From the small cap front, I have Unity. So Unity is a stock that we day traded in the day trading service. So now Unity is at here. This looks like a triple top. 1, 2, and 3. So two things can happen here. We can either break to the downside, break down, or if we gap up above this 39 level, Unity is going to go and fill this gap at $40. So Unity for small cap traders, you can watch Unity for this gap fill, or we can pull back, right? So we shall see how that plays out with Unity. And this other one, Affirm. So I've been watching Affirm closely. Affirm has been playing games with us. In the day trading service, we caught Affirm moves, and then also this sell here. Now Affirm is at a critical point. Affirm needs to find a way to break this. So I believe that if news comes out that Powell sounding dovish or something like that, we are going to crack above this trend line and crack this 82 level, and you are going to see Affirm break out and go, right? So Affirm is an interest rate sensitive stocks. So those that shop at Walmart, like you can see, there's a firm is like a buy now, pay later service. And anytime there's low interest rates, this helps more people to do buy now, pay later, and they get lower rates, right? So this stock usually does well in low interest rate environment. So this year, I believe that this is going to have some kind of rallies from now to September. So expect AFM to break out. So AFM is one of the stocks that is interest rate sensitive that I'm going to be watching for a breakout this week if the market cooperates, right? But if not, it's going to happen sometime soon, maybe before September. Okay. And one more that we also traded in the swing trading service is MFACE, right? So in the swing trading service, we caught MFACE. It's a beautiful, beautiful trade, right? We caught MFACE here. So what was MFACE, by the way? Was it here? Yeah, I think we bought MFACE on that was like on Tuesday. We bought MFACE on Tuesday. It went up and it came back down, and then he put in this investor and shoulders. So we bought here. We added to our position at this investor and shoulders, and then on Friday we got a big rallied up. So this netted us, I believe, 70% or 80% profit, and we still have lots of time on the options, right? So I believe that with M-Phase, what I'm looking at is that M-Phase has been struggling. If you look at this, it's a solar company, so it's an interest rate sensitive stocks. So you see here, this red line, M-Phase has struggled to break this red line, right? So if M-Phase is able to master the carriage and break above this trend line, we are going to get a big push, right? Big push to the 100, and then from there we can go up. So M-Phase is what you can look at for interest rate sensitive stocks to trade. So yeah, so that's the tickets that I have. So in terms of so those that are interested in day trading with us, we have a number of services here. So the members have been crushing it with these services. So we have the weekly alert service. So last week, our trades were our top trades for last week were Tesla calls, that was green. BMNR calls, that was green. We also traded M-Phase calls, that was green. We already took partial profits. We're still holding runners. And we also traded Baba. Baba too did fantastically well. Like by Tuesday, we're already peeling off profit, right? So Baba too worked out nicely. Baba was like 100% or 105% profit. M-Phase went to 70 to 80% profit. For what's it called, BMNR, that one did almost 200 and something percent in just one day, right? So if you are looking for a reliable swing trading service that you can do where like you have a busy 9 to 5, you're looking for a reliable swing trading service where you get the trade plan. So for this week, we've already posted the top 3 tickets for the week. That has not been shared here in this live trading session, in this live YouTube live. It's only for subscribers. So if you want to get and be part of the swing trading service, and this is very, very affordable. This is just $47. Members of this service, when they sign up for the monthly subscription, they make the cost of a yearly subscription in just their first trade, right? We got one member that signed up last week, and that was the first time the person was trading options. The person pulled profits from like 100%. The person also pulled profit from M-Phase, right? And they have already made their yearly subscription back in multiple folds. So if you want something that is reliable where you can make passive income on a weekly basis from the market, this is where you have to be. So I'm going to put the link here, and you guys can check it out. I'm going to put the link here in the chat. This is a swing trading service. I'll put it here in the chat. So if you want to take massive action, you do that ASAP tonight, and then you get to know the top tickets for the week, the top 3 tickets for the week. I'm really excited for those tickets. And boy, oh boy, if they trigger, is going to be fantastic. Like it's going to be members are going to win very big in those trades. And also what I do is that anytime, and this is the only service that is guaranteed, right? Listen, you get 30% money back guarantee. If you join the swing trading service and you don't make money, we are going to refund your subscription. Nobody does that in the industry. So that means that we are very confident with our alert service. And if you follow instructions, as long as you can follow instruction, you are going to make money from it, right? So what I do is that on Sundays, before this YouTube live, we've already posted the 3 tickets for the week with a detailed game plan of what we are going to do, right? If this, then this. If then scenario. If this, we do this. If that, we do this, right? And then, so if you're a trader already, you don't even need to wait for me to alert the trade, right? And when I use my money to take the trade, again, it's not financial advice, but when I use my money to take the trade, I alert it and tell you, hey, by the way, I've taken this trade as per the trade plan. And this is how much I bought it for. So you have to look at the price. So if you look at the price and the price has gone to 100%, then it means that you should not be buying it. It's late, right? If you look at the price and maybe it's just 10%, 5%, and it hasn't really moved, sometimes you can even get a better entry than what I got. You can take the trade. And when I alert it, I tell you what the stop loss is, where the profit target is. So all you need to do is to set alerts on your Yahoo Finance or your phone. When the alert hits, you take profit. So on on M-Phase, it was interesting. So M-Phase, we were looking for, M-Phase was just fantastic. Like on Friday, it was just beautiful trade, right? So M-Phase, what we're looking for M-Phase, this M-Phase here, this is the daily chart. So I told members that, guys, so I set an alert. I was even out. I set an alert on my phone to tell me if M-Phase gets to this level. See here, M-Phase, right? If M-Phase gets to $35 over here, let me know, right? Because this is called, in technical analysis, called a volume gap, right? So volume gap. So when stocks sell off and things or rally, they create what is called a price imbalance, right? So immediately M-Phase popped to 35. I got a notification on my phone. I told members, guys, pay yourself. This is the time to take profit, right? And this thing rallied all the way here to where? 37, right? And 37 is where it's an area. So once we get this above 37, this thing has a lot of volume gaps to fill. See here, there's a volume gap here. There's a volume gap here. This thing can just do wonders. It can just go all the way to this area, right? So that's the kind of alerts that you get, whereby you take action and then profit from it. One of the members sent me a DM, said, man, that M-Phase trade was really, really lovely. Like it was so sweet, right? So if you wanna join the winning team, you just go and sign up and get get the alerts, comes to your phone directly, and you can execute with no hesitation, right? Also, another service that we have is the day trading service. So members can both use the swing trading service, which is a weekly service, or you can also get the day trading service. So with the day trading service, basically what happens is that we day trade every day, right? So here, this is for both futures and options traders, right? So if you want to make money on a daily basis, you want to pull money from the market on a daily basis, this is the service for you, right? Again, day trading is very fast, so you have to come in prepared and you have to have your chart set up. So you have to get your TC2000 set up, or you have to have your trading view set up. Whichever chart you use, you have to set it up. So every morning we start at 8:45 a.m. I give the futures traders the game plan on how they can successfully trade ES futures, NQ futures, the Russell 2000, sometimes gold and other tickers, but we focus mainly on ES and NQ because that's the most popularly traded ones, right? So by 9 a.m. Eastern, we start with the game plan for the options trader. So everybody can get something to trade, right? So we talk about SPY, QQQ, we talk about the top 2 stocks that we are watching to trade. And usually these trades within the first hour, we are done. Most of the time within the first 30 minutes, we already made money, right? And it's just like, so I tell members, guys, we are already done for the day. You can, make sure you lock it in, don't overtrade, and lock it in. Because in the market, as investors or traders in the market, what we come to the market to do is to get our piece of the pie. So if you're interested in the day trading service, it's very straightforward here. I'm going to put the link here, and you can check it out, and you can join us to trade live every single day, Monday to Friday, non-stop, Monday to Friday. So we trade every single day. So you come here. This is the day trading service. Click on it. It's 97 USD per month, and if you want the yearly package, it's 970. So yearly package, you get 2 months free, right? Monthly package, you get $97. Again, this one is also guaranteed, right? You are going to make money as long as you follow the instructions and you execute, right? Again, you have to have the right tools, and you have to be able to follow instructions to execute. So that's about it. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Feel free to type your questions here in the chat, and I'll be happy to respond to your questions. Let's see if you guys have any questions. Anybody has any questions? Please feel free to put your questions in the chat here. Let's see how many people are putting their questions here. So don't be shy. Feel free to put your questions here. And let me see what questions you have. So feel free to put your questions there. So let's see if you guys have any questions. All right. Okay. So it looks like everybody is happy. Everybody's content. There is no questions. So if there are no questions, then have a good night. And those that trade with us in the swing and day trading services, we shall link up tomorrow morning, and then we are going to execute on the trade plans that we have for the week. Okay, so have a good night, and make sure to like this video, hit the notification bell, and also subscribe, because we need to get the numbers of this channel up. Share it with your friends and family and your network so that they can also sign up. So that next time, if I go live, I try to go live at least 5 days in the week. We have also trade recaps where I talk about key lessons, key informations that we did, like in terms of what we learned from a day trade, how we can implement it next time, those kinds of things. So you set up the notification bell so that anytime I go live, you also can join me live as well. So yeah, so it looks like there are no questions yet. So if there are no questions, have a good night. We shall link up again. Those that are going to be trading with us will link up tomorrow morning. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Bye for now. Bye for now.